What is up, guys? Today I have something very different for you this time around. Today we're going to be reviewing the Mortal Kombat movie that just came out. For those of you who don't know this about me, I've been following the franchise for a long time. I'm not one of those people who's read every single comic or has played every single game or knows every little bit of detail about every individual character. No, I'm not one of those, but I definitely do know a lot about Mortal Kombat. So when I heard this movie was coming out, I was very skeptical because I seen the first one, I seen some of the second one. The second one was absolutely awful. I couldn't finish it. And I really got into Mortal Kombat around MK, I want to say Deception. Yeah, I got into Mortal Kombat around Deception. I played a lot of Armageddon, played 9, played MKX, which I really loved, and MK11, which I absolutely hate. But that's a conversation for another time. Today we're just going to discuss the movie and what I thought about it. So I just finished it, and I made a few notes here. This movie has a lot of violence and a lot of gore. Now, if that's the type of movie you're expecting it to be, then I'm sure you're going to find everything you want in it. But for me, somebody who's looking at Mortal Kombat from more of a story standpoint and wants to see what they do with the characters, it was a pretty big miss for me because it just shows their lack of consistency with the franchise. And that is the biggest problem with this franchise. There is no level of consistency. So let's just go into what I wrote down here. The fight between Scorpion and SubZero in the very beginning of the film. Now, they showed you the first 7 minutes. They released that footage on YouTube, and I know a whole bunch of people have probably seen it by now. But they show you the rest of what happens when SubZero and Scorpion actually start to fight. Now, somebody just has to explain this to me. There will be spoilers in this review, so be warned. I am giving you the heads up now. Somebody explain to me this. Scorpion and SubZero fought in the very beginning, and SubZero never really used his ice powers. And this is one of the problems I have with this franchise. Scorpion is pretty much untouchable. Yes, we know the whole story between Hanzo and Bihan. They fight, Bihan wins, and Scorpion comes back, and then he kills Bihan. We all know this. But the problem here is, this fight in the beginning should be so one-sided, it shouldn't even be close. But the way that they had this fight down, it was so close between Hanzo and Bihan. I honestly didn't even know if they were going to go the route of Bihan killing him. Because at one point, Scorpion gets up and he starts crawling away because he hears his child crying. And I'm thinking, so he's not even dead? Aren't the Lin Kuei a clan of assassins? Why did he not make sure he was dead? You know, he didn't like slit his throat or stab him in the head. He stabs him like a little bit above the chest. Oh man, I didn't understand this at all. I don't know what they were thinking. Scorpion starts to crawl away, and then he bleeds out, and then he dies. But like I said, the problem here is Scorpion is pretty much untouchable. If they wanted to make this fight how it should have been, I mean, even the anime did this properly. Bihan destroys him. It's not even a close fight, because remember, at this point, Scorpion doesn't have any powers. He just has the rope spear. Bihan has the powers of ice. Bihan should be able to crush and annihilate Scorpion with pure ease. But they make the fight a little more dramatic, and Scorpion ends up getting him on a few good shots. Oh, at the end of the day, Bihan still kills him, but it's just the way that the fight went down was very foolish. Then they go into the next part where the dialogue says something very confusing to me. It says that Hanzo Hasashi's bloodline will save Earthrealm. And at this point, this is what I'm talking about here with Scorpion. They're trying to make Scorpion like the Superman of this universe, where everything revolves around him, and it makes no sense what they're doing here. I don't understand what they're doing. Hanzo Hasashi's bloodline will save Earthrealm. Correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't that Liu Kang's job? Isn't Liu Kang supposed to be the one that saves Earthrealm? Then we proceed to go to the part where Bihan is actually hunting down the people who have the dragon marking. And the dragon marking, from what I thought the dragon marking was something that okay, when the tournament begins, these are the selected fighters who are going to participate in the tournament. No, no, no. The dragon marking is actually something that gives these fighters their powers. Oh boy, what the heck is going on here? I don't even know what kind of story they're trying to tell anymore. Cole is supposed to be the character we're following. We meet his family. We see that he is a descendant of Hanzo Hasashi's bloodline, because Hanzo had that one kid survive. The kid that survived was a girl, and the girl continued to reproduce for his bloodline, and we end up with Cole. Now, we follow Cole's story, where Cole is a fighter. I guess he's an underground fighter, I'm not too sure, where he's making money off of his fights. We see him get into a current fight. In the current fight, he's losing. And then Jax comes and says, oh, you know, where'd you get that mark? Jax follows him as he leaves to go meet up with his family. SubZero shows up and he's about to kill Cole because Cole has the marking. SubZero's hunting down the people that have the marking. Let me pause right there. Why is SubZero working for Shang Tsung? This is a big, big problem, and they also did this in MK9. Shang Tsung should not have SubZero working for. SubZero, if you don't know, in the first game of Mortal Kombat, he was there to kill Shang Tsung. SubZero's mission was to kill Shang Tsung. That was the order from the Grandmaster of the Lin Kuei. Explain to me why he's working for Shang Tsung. Okay, there's no explanation, like I thought. Anyway, so they're continuing with this piss poor storyline where SubZero is hunting down the people that have the marking, and Jax intercepts him to save Cole. So then Jax ends up fighting SubZero in his place, and SubZero freezes and breaks Jax's arms. Now, this isn't the problem. You know, they always change up how Jax loses his arms. I'm okay with that. You know, they're doing something different there, but you're still getting the same result at the end. But the problem here comes when, after the fight is over, SubZero proceeds to throw Jax's head down, where it bangs off of a metal rod sticking out of the concrete and spews blood at the camera, and Jax falls face first after that. I'm sorry, Jax should be dead. There's no way he should have survived that. But this movie makes no sense. So, moving forward, we then meet up with Sonya, who has Kano chained up. This is so confusing to me, because Sonya is not Sonya. Sonya is not the tough, hardened, badass military woman that we know from Mortal Kombat. Sonya, for some strange reason in this film, is very, very lighthearted and likes to joke around a lot. And she's done all this research figuring out what the symbols mean, and the symbols mean that everybody's gonna come together to fight for Mortal Kombat, and it just, oh man, I don't know what they did with Sonya, but Sonya's terrible. Then Reptile shows up to try and attack Cole. Reptile's not even Reptile. I mean, none of these characters are really themselves besides Kano. Kano is the only saving grace of this entire film. Reptile shows up, he's just purely reptilian, he doesn't even speak. Reptile slashes Kano's face, Kano breaks free, Kano kills Reptile, and after that, Kano just proceeds to just sit down in Sonya's apartment or her RV, whatever it is, and just hang out with Sonya and Cole and have a good time and relax. And I'm just hearing that as a Mortal Kombat fan, you're probably thinking this has to be a joke, because we know this whole rivalry between Sonya and Kano. Sonya hates Kano's guts. You think for 1 second she's gonna let Kano sit in her house and just have a regular beer and have a conversation, joke around with him like that? Like I said, these characters are not the same characters that we know. Then Sonya proceeds to bargain with Kano for information to find more people that have the marking. And Sonya gets to the point where she's like, I'll give you 2 million if you tell me where they are, Kano. And Kano just says, how about 3 million? She's like, okay, 3 million, that's fine. Mind you, if this was the Sonya that we know from all the other games, Sonya would have beat Kano within an inch of his life and forced him to tell her all the information. She would not bargain with him. But like I said, remember, none of these characters are themselves. So let's just move on. Then later on, they end up in the desert because this is where they have to go to find more people that have the marking. Kano and Sonya end up in a fight for literally no reason at all. Kano just shoves her for absolutely no reason, and they just fight. And this reminds me a lot of Jax versus Johnny Cage from Mortal Kombat 9, where they just threw in that fight just to throw it in. They fought, there was no reason to the fight, they move on. That was it. Next, we meet up with Liu Kang, and Liu Kang shows off his fire powers, and he did something very, very strange to me. Kano, Cole, and Sonya approach Liu Kang. Liu Kang immediately throws a fireball at Kano, then follows up 5 seconds later and says, I'm not here to fight you, I'm your friend. And at this point, I'm looking at my TV like, there's no way. Like, There's no way that that just happened. The dude just shows up, blasts the dude to the ground. I'm here to be your friend. Okay, let's just move on. So then we proceed to walk through the temple with Liu Kang. I guess it's his Wuxi. It doesn't even look like it. It looks like some underground fortress or something. I'm not even sure. Where they have all the displays of like the Great Kung Lao, Goro, and all these other references to Mortal Kombat. You even see Argus and Dahlia. I'm not sure if that was Rain on the table. They had a picture, they had somebody lying on the table in between the two of them. I'm not sure. It might have been Rain, but honestly, I didn't even care enough to pay attention. They continue to walk down these areas, and then you see Shinnok's amulet, and Kano just immediately grabs it and hides it. Because it's gold, it looks fancy, and you know, Kano's the guy, the mercenary who likes to sell, and you get the idea. Liu Kang starts saying some speech, and at the end of it, he walks up to Kano and says, "Put that back." And Kano says, "Put what back?" And then they just cut away from the scene. And then I'm thinking, okay, did he put the amulet back? Did he just keep the amulet? Like, what happened there? They never explained anything, and that's just the end of the scene. So I'm going to guess that Kano still has the amulet. Moving forward, that's when they start to train all the warriors that show up to the academy or whatever the underground fortress is for Liu Kang. And they have this thing, I don't remember what they were calling it, that the marking is what gives you your powers, like I said. But they were calling it a certain something. I don't remember what it was. So the good guys actually start to train Kano, and Kano's power is his eye laser that he just gets when he's mad, and he doesn't need any cybernetics for that slash on his eye. They're just going to leave it to heal alone. But when he gets mad, he gets that eye laser. So stupid. Then we fast forward into the scene where we see Shang Tsung and his... I don't even know what area this is. It looks like it's Outworld. I'm pretty sure this is Outworld. But he's in like some little throne area where he has Melina and Cabal, because Cabal is also working for Shang Tsung. I don't remember when that happened in the original Mortal Kombat. Maybe there's something I missed. But yeah, Cabal works for Shang Tsung now, even though he's supposed to be from Earthrealm. Somebody explain that to me. Cabal is saying that, oh, it's because of Kano, he's burned like this, and he's gonna get Kano back, and it's all Kano's fault. But then Cabal proceeds to recruit Kano to Shang Tsung's side, influencing Kano to betray Sonya because there's more money on his side. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but did they not just build up the storyline that Cabal is trying to get back at Kano for having him be a burn victim? Why would he then recruit... Oh my god, this... Now that I'm sitting here going over this, it makes less sense than when I first saw it. Kano, of course, betrays Sonya and Liu Kang and everybody else because, you know, he's Kano. I mean, what did you expect? So after Cole finds out that he's a descendant of the Hasashi bloodline from Raiden, Raiden says that Cole's not, you know, he's not serious enough. He's not strong enough to be a part of the fighting team to defend Earthrealm, so he should just go back to his family. So that's what he does. He goes back to his family. And then Goro shows up to destroy Cole's family and Cole. And now during this fight, Cole awakens his power. His power, you want to guess what it is? Since he's a descendant from the Hasashi bloodline. It's an armored suit. Woo, yay. It's an armored suit that could create weapons. Oh my god, yeah, awesome. And guess what? Cole kills Goro. I'm not even joking. Cole kills Goro. Not Liu Kang, who defeats Goro. Cole kills Goro. I mean, he stabs Goro right through the eye and he slices his stomach open. I mean, you see the intestines and everything's falling out. Goro's dead. Cuts off one of Goro's arms too, he's dead. What story are they trying to tell here? Like, they're literally just taking these original characters that we know, stripping them away of everything that made them who they are, and they're just, oh man, this makes no sense. During this fight with Cole and Goro, all the other heroes are fighting their respective villains. I think Liu Kang is fighting Cabal, Kung Lao is fighting Natara, and he actually like slices her in half with the hat, which is a little reference to his MK9 fatality, which is pretty cool. Like, it's pretty amazing to see that. But then they ruin it by having Kung Lao say flawless victory at the end. It's just, oh man, it's cringe. Sonya is fighting Melina, and then Melina says Sonya doesn't even have the marking of the warriors, so it's not worthy to kill her. I don't know why Sonya doesn't have the marking. This is just stupid. But Kano has the marking. Then Reiko is fighting Jax. At the end of the fight, Raiden steps in and says, let's take everybody away because the fight is getting out of hand, I think, or something like that. It was a tactical retreat, but he couldn't get to Kung Lao in time. Shang Tsung grabs a hold of Kung Lao, steals Kung Lao's soul, and Kung Lao's dead. Now, this is what I'm confused about. This takes place before the tournament. So, Kung Lao's dead. Natara didn't even participate in the Mortal Kombat 1 tournament. Kung Lao didn't either. Kung Lao didn't show up to Mortal Kombat 2. But this is where I'm confused. How is all this happening and the Elder Gods are okay with it? And Shang Tsung says something in the movie this entire time. Oh, the Elder Gods are just too lazy to step in and stop me. They're too lazy. He always says that. The Elder Gods are too lazy. But yet, Raiden, when asked by Jax why didn't he save Kung Lao, Raiden's response is, because the Elder Gods won't allow it. So, the Elder Gods will allow Shang Tsung killing everybody else, attacking all of Earthrealm's defenses, before the tournament starts. But if Raiden steps in to save one of their lives, the Elder Gods will just see it as, no, it's unholy. Raiden, you can't do this. They'll step in and they'll stop him. Let's just keep going. So at the end of the film, SubZero shows up, attack Cole. He tricks Cole into thinking he killed his family. Cole runs in through the portal and chases SubZero. Then it proceeds to be a fight between Cole and SubZero. Not even Scorpion and SubZero, which is, the poster fight of Mortal Kombat. It's Cole versus SubZero. And SubZero starts to whoop his ass. Like, come on. I mean, this is ridiculous now. SubZero's how many years old? According to this film, he's centuries old. Bihan is centuries old. Yes, SubZero whoops his ass. Then Scorpion shows up. Scorpion and SubZero fight. And it's a pretty close fight. I will say it is a pretty close fight. Scorpion and Cole team up against SubZero. They beat him. Scorpion kills him. Cole gets his family back. And Shang Tsung shows up and says that he's going to have an army to fight Raiden and his forces. And Raiden says that he's going to start recruiting more people. And at the very end, we see like a little picture saying Johnny Cage. So Johnny Cage is coming. Yeah, that's where the film ends. That's where the film ends. Johnny Cage is coming and they're setting up the sequel. Oh my God, man. I mean, as somebody who's a big fan of this franchise, I knew this film wasn't going to be that good and I was very, very skeptical about it. But wow, it was way worse than I thought. I mean, I'm not going to say this film's a 0 out of 10 or like a 1 out of 10. That's just being a little bit ridiculous. But if you're not a Mortal Kombat fan and this is your first time watching the series, I'm pretty sure you'll think it's a good film. If you're a hardcore Mortal Kombat fan like I am and you watch this, you're just going to be like, bro, what is this? Like, what is the point of this movie? Who are they trying to tell this story to? Because this is not for the fans. This film is not for the fans because they changed so many things about these characters. I mean, Liu Kang is not even his normal, humble, modest monk self. Liu Kang is just, he's like twitchy almost. Like he's twitchy, he's just weird. He's not even Liu Kang. I don't know what story they're trying to tell here, man. This has to be a story to just pull in new audience members because there's no way this is for the fans. There's no way. The fight choreography was cool. I will give him that. I do like the fight choreography. I do like the little language barrier between Hanzo and Bihan, where one speaks Chinese, one speaks Japanese. And I think Hanzo even says at one point, even though I may not understand your language, I will kill you or something like that. It was pretty funny. I like that. That adds character to them. But the problem is they're adding character to Scorpion and SubZero with their languages, but then everybody else has like the strangest character that just doesn't even make sense to who they are. It's like they take away the cores of these characters, give them new things that make no sense. It feels like Sonya Blade is a mixture of Johnny Cage and Sonya making Cassie Cage. It feels like Raiden is just a hard ass for no reason. Kano's the comedic relief. Liu Kang is just this twitchy person who looks like he's on drugs or something. Kung Lao's not even as cocky and arrogant as he usually is. He's more humble this time, which is strange. Jax is Jax. I mean, they didn't really change anything with Jax. SubZero just seems like an evil prick for no reason when SubZero shouldn't be an evil prick. Bihan's not an evil character. Scorpion is just his vengeful self. That's all Scorpion is just vengeful in this film. And they didn't go with Harumi and Satoshi. They went with Karan and Jubei. And when I first saw this, I'm like, why are they referencing this? Is this really their names now? No, that was really their names. Karan and Jubei. They went back to the Mortal Kombat legacy. And I'm thinking, why? like, you get what I'm saying? There is no reason that they should be doing some of the things that they're doing. Some of the things they're advancing in, like with the character dialogue between Scorpion and SubZero. And then they're just backtracking with Karan and Jubei. Like, what is the point? Oh man, this film, man. Honestly, what would I rate this film out of 10? Like I said, if you're not a Mortal Kombat fan, this is your first time watching it, I'm pretty sure you'd probably say it's like a 7 or so. But for me, as a Mortal Kombat fan, I mean, it's hard for me to say this is anything above a 3. I mean, Kano is literally the only saving grace. I'd say it's like a 3 or a 4. A 4, and I'm being generous. A 4 probably. From a fan standpoint, it's not as bad as Mortal Kombat 2 Annihilation, but boy is it bad. I mean, that's like, oof. I mean, we're not in Annihilation territory, but wow. I will say this, I did enjoy watching SubZero on screen. I did enjoy seeing the powers like used in the fights. Oh man, and then they even did Liu Kang's bicycle kick, and it just looked so bad. It looked terrible. It looked awful. Melina's mouth just looked weird, and then when she screams at the end of the film, when her true mouth comes out, it just looks so terrible. The animation. Jax's arm. Jax runs around with these little peewee arms, and it just looks so stupid. And eventually he gets his real power where he just wants to protect Sonya, and then he gets the big buff arms, and it's just like, why didn't you just give him the big buff arms to begin with? It's just, oh man. If it wasn't for Kano, man, this film would be like a freaking 1 or a 2. Like, it was bad. This was really bad. But I'm sure there's gonna be people that like it. I seen the Rotten Tomatoes score already, and it was like a 58%, and it said the audience score was at 88%. Y'all are lying. I'm gonna just tell y'all straight up now. Either y'all don't know much about the franchise, or y'all just lying, because this movie is nowhere near 88. Hell no. Not on its best day. This movie is garbage. But again, let me know what y'all think. I'd love to hear your comments in the comment section below, and leave a like. Let me know what you thought of it, and let me know what you honestly thought of the film. Maybe there's something that I missed. Maybe there's some things that I just didn't see. Maybe I was being too hard on the film, but wow, this was garbage. And it's so bad because I just saw Godzilla vs. Kong, and that film was so great. And then to see this, it's like, wow. But anyways, that's it for now, guys. So leave a like, subscribe. Let me know what you thought of the film down below, and have a good night, guys.